Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn about the kinds of pronoun and especially the distributive pronouns. So now let's know what the distributive pronouns are. When we pick out one person or thing or more out of a particular group and then separately discuss about them. So there when we use the pronouns, they are the distributive pronouns. Okay? So here, the main purpose is sometimes we are very confused, and you can say it seems to be very, very tricky for us. Sometimes that we don't know whether to use the singular verb or plural verb. So that's why in the beginning I want to tell you that you have to pay attention to the subject. Okay, you don't have to pay attention to these because these are the objects of the preposition. Okay, so you don't have to pay attention to these whether they are singular or plural. Okay, these things don't matter. The main thing, okay, which matters is the subject. So you have to pay a very strong attention on the subject. Then you will know when the subject is singular, you have to use the singular verb. Okay, for example, when the subject is singular, you have to use the singular verb like is, was, has. And then when you will see the subject is plural, then you have to use the plural verb like are, were, have. And when you will see the subject is talking about in uncountable, then you have to use the singular verb. Why? Because uncountables don't take plural verbs. Okay, so remember this. Now I'm going to read these sentences examples. Here actually I have written only about the people, actually the human beings, but you can use them in different ways. You can use them about the things, animals, anything. Okay, so now you see the first sentence, all of the teams are playing. Okay, now here this are we have not put because of this, that this teams is plural. No, we have put it because of this. Okay, because of the subject. So only subject has the right to take verb. Okay, objects cannot take verbs. Okay, as I told you before, these are the objects. These are the objects of the preposition. Okay, so that's why you have to pay a strong attention to the subjects. Okay, all of her hair is black. Now here I've used all, but here the verb is. I mean the singular verb. Why? Because it is uncountable. Before I told you that for uncountables we use only the singular verbs. Okay, uncountables don't take the plural verbs. Okay. Now here I said all out of all. Now here I would say most of the players are active. Now here I'm trying to say that not all of the players but most of the players are active. Okay, when it comes to uncountable, so you have to use also most, many of the words like this. Okay, most of the work was done. Now here you can see, the uncountables, which I have put in red brackets so that they should be, you can say, prominent and clear for you to understand. Okay, many of the players were tired. Not all of the players, but many of the players are tired or were tired. Sorry. Okay, much of the food was eaten. Much of the food was eaten. Okay, for countables you can use many, and for uncountables you can use much. Okay, many is not used for uncountables. And now here I am totally talking about a tournament. Okay, a cricket tournament. Okay, where many teams get together to play matches with one another for the World Cup. Okay, whether it's World Cup or any other cup, because a trophy, no problem. Okay. Some of the teams are out, means they are out of the World Cup or whatever the cup it is. Okay. Some of the work is remaining. Not you can say the whole work, but some of the work is remaining. Okay. Few of the players are lazy. Not all of them, but just a few of them are lazy. Okay. For countables, in you can say small numbers or less numbers, we use few. But for uncountables, we use less. We don't use few because few is countable. Sorry. Okay. So in place of few, we use little for uncountable things. Okay. Little means a very small quantity. Okay. Little of her hair is white. Okay. Now here comes the problem. I want to tell you that when we talk, about one person out of many, or two out of many, or three out of many, or etc. This way, you can go on. Okay, so we can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, but when we talk about 2 out of 2, I mean they are totally 2. Okay, then we don't use 2. Okay, instead we use both. Okay, because when we talk about 2 out of 2, then this word has been given say specific words. Okay, for positive sentences we say both. For both negatives we say neither. So one is negative and one is positive, then we say either. Okay, so remember this. Okay, both of the teams are strong. Now, before I was talking about, you can say, the quarter final or semi-final, where there are too many teams. Okay, but when it comes to the final, so just 2 teams are playing. Okay, so that's why I have used here both. Both of the teams are strong. Means I'm talking about the final match. Okay, okay. Any of the teams can win. Any of the teams can win. Now, any means one, anyone. Okay. So here I am talking about, you can say, the quarter final, the semi final. Any means one out of many. One out of many. Okay. So that's why I have used here any. Okay. Any means out of many. So here I am talking about the quarter final. Okay. And, or the semi final. Okay, any of the teams can win. Okay, now let's see this. Either of the teams can win. Now here I am talking about the final, where you can say both of the teams are playing. So one of them will win, the other will lose the match. So that's why I have used either of them. Now here I haven't, you can say, pointed towards a team that this team will win, or okay. So that's why I have used a random sense that you can say either of the teams can win, whether this team or that team. Okay. So here I have used either. Either means one out of 2. Any means one out of many. Okay. Let's go to this sentence now. Okay. So here I have used can, okay, the model verb, but if it had been used, okay, is here, okay, in place of these both, so it would have been also correct. But remember this, here you can use, is singular verb. Why? Because this means one, also this means one. Okay, here it means one out of many, here it means one out of 2. Okay. So for one, you can say singular subject, you can use the singular verb here is, okay. But here I have used them, you can say, with the modal verb, okay. So it is also, you can say, they are actually mostly used in this way. Okay. None of the teams is weak. None means 0. None means actually no one. 0. Okay. So 0 also is a digit, so 0 can have maximally singular verb. Okay, 0 cannot take plural verb. Okay, so you see, none means 0 out of many. Okay, means not all of them. and neither means 0 out of 2, means not both of them, you say both of them in negative way. Okay, so here you see none of the teams is weak. Now here I am talking about the quarter final or semi final where there are more than two teams. Okay, so that's why I'm using none. None means 0 out of many. Okay, neither of the teams is weak. Now here I am talking about the final where there are two teams playing and both of them are strong. You can see here I have written the positive sentence. Both of them are strong. Both of the teams are strong. So here I have made the negative sentence. Neither of them is weak. Okay, neither means 0 out of 2. Neither of them is weak, means both of them are strong. Okay, so that's why I have used either of them can win the match, whether this one or that one. Okay, none of the work was done. None of the work was done. Now for uncountable plurals, okay, for uncountable nouns, you can use none. Okay, none means 0. None of the work was done means the work was not touched completely. The work was not done completely. Okay, so that's why we say none of the work was done. Okay, so now let's go to the corrections now. Here I have written detect the mistake. Now I have written these sentences in pairs. So one of them might be correct and one of them might be wrong. I mean incorrect. So that's why I'll get you the two sentences read, and then you have to guess which of them is correct. Okay. Now you see, all of his eyes are blind. Both of his eyes are blind. So what do you say? Which one of them is correct? All of his eyes are blind. Both of his eyes are blind. So here you have to use your common sense. That, as I told you before, when we talk about two things, we know they are two, totally two. Then we use both. Okay. Although this sentence seems to be correct, all of his eyes are blind. Okay. So, but we don't use all. Why? Because we know he has two eyes. Okay. So just it is a matter of common sense. So that is why the upper sentence is incorrect and the lower sentence is correct. Both of his eyes are blind, because we know he has two eyes. Actually everyone has two eyes. Okay, so that's why it is a matter of common sense. Maybe it is possible that in an exam or a test you can find a sentence that it seems to be quite tricky for you. So you have to use your common sense. Okay. Okay, two of her fingers have burned. Both of her fingers have burned. Two of her fingers have burned and both of her fingers have burned. Now again you have to use here your common sense. So what do you think? Which sentence is correct? If you are using your common sense, so you're right. This sentence is incorrect and this is correct. Why? Because as I told you before that we can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of many. So fingers are many, fingers are not two. So that is why here both is incorrect. Okay. Two of her fingers have burned is correct. Okay. Now let's go to this one. Either of her fingers is damaged. Either of her fingers is damaged. One of her fingers is damaged. One of her fingers is damaged. So what do you say? Which one of the sentences is correct? Again, it is a matter of common sense. You have to think deeply. So I think you have come to the conclusion. So this one is incorrect. Why? Before I told you, when we talk about two things, 2 out of 2 and one positive, one negative, then we use either. Otherwise, when we talk about 1 out of many, then we don't use either. Okay? We use one, okay, or okay, so just go on in this way. So that is why this sentence is correct. One of her fingers is damaged. Okay? Now let's go to this one. can go or either of you can go. So what do you say about this? For example, I have some students here and there's a work to be done. So I have told my students, one of you should go and do the work. And they asked me permission, sir, who of us should go there and do the work? Then I say, any of you can go. Okay? And, or you can say that, I will say, either of you can go. Now here the difference is this, that when I say any of you can go, means one of you can go, that I mean there are too many students, more than two. But when I say either of you can go, here I am talking about two. I have two students there. Then I can say either of you can go. You can see here I have written one out of many. Here I have written one out of two. One out of two, one out of many. So that's why these both sentences are correct. Okay? So here I would mark them with the correct mark. Okay. Let's go to this one now. Excuse me. None of his eyes is blind, neither of his eyes is blind. So what do you say? Which one of the sentences is correct? Because none means zero, neither means zero. Again you have to use your common sense, that none we use zero out of many, neither we use out of two, where they are totally two. Okay? So once again I will repeat the sentences, then you have to guess once again. Okay? None of his eyes is blind. Neither of his eyes is blind. I think you got the point now. So, where is it? This is correct, because when we talk about neither of his eyes is blind, now here we are talking about two. Both sentences negative, okay? 0 out of 2, okay? But when we say none of his eyes is blind, now here this sentence is wrong. Because I told you before that none we cannot use for two things. Okay? None means 0 but out of many, not two. Okay? So remember this. So that is why this sentence is incorrect. Okay? But you can see the example. None of his eyes is blind. Now here I have told you that 0 out of many, 0 out of 2. Okay? So when we talk 0 out of 2, so this one is correct. When we talk 0 out of, again we are giving this problem, that eyes, okay? Eyes are not 2. So that is why none is, here, none is wrong. Otherwise the sentence is correct, okay? But none is wrong. Okay? This one is correct. So that is why this is not incorrect actually. Here I have put this, wrong mark, incorrect mark for this one, for none. Okay? Not for neither. Otherwise, both are the same. The matter is none and neither, okay? So that's why you have to pay attention that none means 0 out of many, neither means 0 out of 2. So the lower sentence is correct, okay? Now let's go to this one now. Neither of her fingers has burned. Neither of her fingers has burned. None of her fingers has burned. So what do you say? Which one of the sentences is correct? Again you use your common sense. When I talk about two things negatively, then I say neither, okay? So here the sentence is not about two things. The sentence is about the fingers, okay? Fingers are not two. So that is why this sentence is incorrect. Okay? Neither of her fingers has burned. It is incorrect. Okay. None of her fingers has burned. None of her fingers has burned. Now it is correct. Because none we use 0 out of many, not 2. Okay? So that's why the lower sentence is correct. Now let's go to this one. Neither of the work is done. None of the work is done. So what do you say? Which one of the sentences is correct? Oh, sorry, is correct? Neither of the work is done, none of the work is done. So I think again you have used your common sense. So the common sense says that neither we cannot use for uncountable things, okay? Neither we use for countable things, but just two, not more than two. So that's why the lower sentence is correct. This is incorrect. Now here at the end, I want to tell you something that none we can use sometimes. You can say rarely or hardly ever. Okay, you can say with also the plural verb. For example, now I want to tell you. Okay, none of them is a doctor. None of them are doctors. Now I'm using, none of them are doctors. Okay, but this are, okay, none of them are doctors. Now here this is used, rarely. Okay, not commonly. Okay, we mostly use none. None of them is a doctor. Okay, so I think you have understood the point. Once again, I want to repeat that. We mostly say none of them is a doctor, and we rarely say or hardly ever we say none of them are doctors. Okay, so I think this is enough for today, and you have got the main point here, as I told you about each and everything. Okay, so related to the distributive pronouns. So this is enough for today. Until the next meeting, stay tuned.